right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to my first author roundtable. I am joined by three amazing ladies: Tracy Leonard Nakatani, Leah DeWitt, and Jessie Sprague. Or is it Sprague? Is it Sprague? Sprague?
It doesn't matter to me at all.
All right, cool. And I'm so excited to have these ladies join the stream with me here today, and you're going to get to hear about their books and their experience publishing and writing, kind of talk about the projects that they've got going on, and you'll hear from me a little bit as well about what I've got going. So, Tracy, you want to start with you? Put you on the spot.
Sure, yeah, put me on the spot. I love
that.
I love it. No, my name is Tracy Leonard Nakatani, and my current project right now is A Bird Among Wolves, and it is a first in a 5-book series. Chaz has been able to read this. Actually, he was right there when I was first starting to develop the world, so he's gotten to see the evolution, as well as these two ladies have been with me from the beginning. But I've been working on this story for years, and I have a Kickstarter that is going to be launching mid-October. It's currently up for pre-launch right now, so you can find it on Kickstarter and follow it. You can also find more about my writing at tracynakatani.com. That's my author website, but has more on other projects that I'm working on as well. But yeah, I can pass it off to the next person.
Can we cheer her? Can we cheer for her? Because that's what we do. That's what we do, right? We're Coven. So I just want to chip in and say that Bird Wolves is a magnificent fantasy that really will sweep you off your feet. And I love it. I love the way that Tracy writes her amount of details. I always call her the queen of details. And it's an amazing, adventure in a fantasy setting. It's very different when even if you see wolves in there, it's not your usual wolves. So I really love that story. So yeah, cheering up for Tracy.
Yes, cheering for Tracy. I agree. Yeah, the world is really good, excellently built, and unique in so many ways. And the prequel, Crimson Coronation, is fantastic.
It is,
which I've talked about before. So, fantastic writer, and I'm looking forward to more for sure.
Well, and this is how good this book is. This book is how I found her. We have built a friendship on the fact that I fell in love with Marius and Gavin, mostly Gavin, but
yeah,
She loves Gavin, like
friendship on how amazing her story was. I think I found her story, and then she returned by finding mine, and then I found Lahia, though the order could be wrong. But
that's about right.
It's an amazing story. Like,
it is.
I can't say enough. And the cover is gorgeous. And she created it herself. So this is a multi-talented woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Very talented.
And I think this is what Jess has mentioned. It's part of our strength. I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry. I tend to do that. But it's part of our strength as a trio of friends who are best friends and who we love each other's stories because we found them before we knew each other. But I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, since you were talking, do you want to go next?
Who was talking? Jessie was also talking.
Let's throw Leah in front of the bus now.
Yay! Okay, so my name is Leah DeWitt, and you say perfectly. You nail it, Chas, by the way.
Okay, cool.
I am a bilingual author. I focus on fantasy, romance, and a strong dash of adventure. Actually, I'm twisting my brand a little bit because I love adventure. So almost all my books are filled with adventure and with with a lot of fantasy or a little fantasy, depending on the type of book, and always romance. But it's a romance that I think it's a natural romance, and there's many type of readers who love that type of romance. I hope I explained myself better. So anyway, I have 4 books published now. These 2 are a couple of them. So this is my first in a series. This is a fantasy romance series. And yes, has it. Yay. You see how we love each other? So yeah, so this is Touch of Fate, and it is a fantasy contemporary to Second World with pirates and fae. It's not the fate court. There's no court here. It's a different type. It's more Tolkienish type of fae. So and both characters go deep into adventure. So I love that. And I also have a magical realism book that I just released, and this is the first. Yay! She has that. Yay! This is the first one that I published myself. So that's something that we'll talk about because I'm also besides being bilingual, I'm also a hybrid author. So this is my first self-published, but my other my series is with under a small pub.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can I jump in and say something about you now?
Okay.
Actually, going back to how we all found each other. This one right here, I have a band because we were working around the whole Mexico shipping thing. But this was the book where I found Lehia first, but I spied on her with this. She was sharing this story, but I didn't jump in and like comment on it because I was like, oh, she's mid-story. I don't want to like jump in and, I'm not
Which was
worthy to jump in. I know, but anyway, it was beautiful. So cute. The characters, the banter, it's just such a heartwarming story. And then when I learned that she was not she was writing it in English and it wasn't her first language, I was just like floored. Completely just amazed because it was such a good story. She has such a way with words. And I remember one particular thing, and I think you should talk about this more, Lehia, but there's a thing in there with a story about the fish, and it was really
gonna make me
funny.
cry.
Because in Spanish, like there's this joke that the little boy says about the fish,
Yeah.
and it doesn't quite translate to English, but it does, and it's kind of like even funnier in English in a way. But I don't know, Lehia, I'll have to have you like share that charming part about Bobby and the fish and the dead fish and
We can talk about that after Jess
okay.
because we don't want to steal her spotlight.
You can steal all the spotlight you want.
Because she is the one who loves the spotlight the most.
Yeah.
I do want to cheer for Likia real quick as well because many of you who have watched my channel have heard me say that I don't read romance, and romantasy is not really my thing. But these books are the Verdeas Pledge series it is fantasy and it does have romance, but the fantasy elements are complemented by the romance as opposed to it being a romance heavy series. And I just absolutely loved it. The romance works so well in it, and it doesn't feel forced like a lot of stories do. So I have to commend her on winning over a guy that would not normally read a lot of romance. And also, I have to piggyback on what Tracy said. When I found out that you wrote this in English, which is not your first language, I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
I have to say that. So yes, thank you for what you do. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Now you warm my heart, and you're gonna make me cry at some point. Thank you.
Then we know we've accomplished our job.
Yes.
But now it's Jess's turn.
Okay, Jessica.
If you see carefully, there's someone in the background.
Oh yeah,
someone we love.
It's my favorite guy back there.
Wow, we love him.
So I write. I'm not good at speaking. I write books.
And boy, does she.
I write horror and dark fantasy, and I write a lot of space fantasy. Like my premier series, the one that's worked the best, has been Bone River. And I'm going to come out with the 5th book, and this is coming out this year pretty soon. So it's the Aspect Wars series. But I also I have a horror series that's coming out with Curse Dragonship Publishing. So I write a lot. I have a bunch of different series, but everything's kind of, I guess, dark. I have words to describe my stuff, but there's a reason that I write and I don't talk. My website is jessiespragg.com, and it has all the stuff on my books and the access to my mailing list, which gives a free starter. That's the starter books for three of my main series. So you can kind of feel out. One is kind of like a fantasy with a high dose of romance. And one is Bone River, which is space fantasy with lots of necromancy. And the other is like a post-apocalypse, kind of like after the alien invasion, when the aliens won, what happens? So it's lovely. I write lovely, happy things where no one dies, ever.
Let's
She's
jump
lying.
in. Let's jump in. There's one thing about Jess you should know. I mean, when I write first drafts, there's one word to describe them. It's like vomiting, because I just vomit my words, like pow, pow, pow. I just make a mess, right? But when I read her first drafts, oh my God, it's like this is almost ready to publish. I mean, she writes so, she's so focused on her story. She writes these mean world buildings, and she plans them all. She has, the maps and what's going to happen, and the cultures and the different ways that the names are pronounced. So she does a lot of research. So when she writes her first draft, it's like, wow.
Yeah. And I echo that. She's not making it up. Like, Jessie's just so skilled with words and prose. And I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. She's an award-winning author, and she doesn't like to toot her own horn, but she's just really talented. And her magic systems, like everything is so well thought out, and she's so prolific. And I mean, I just my impression usually of prolific authors is, okay, they just write really quickly and they have a fun story, but there's not like a whole lot of substance. But that's not true with Jessie. She's so quick and everything is so well thought out. And it's just like, how do you have that all inside of you? And there's just so many of them, so many stories, and she's so good at getting them out. And yeah, I could talk about the story that I found her on. I don't know if we could talk about that, but I'll just
I
say
think it
that
will be
one's not
fun.
out yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That one, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not out
That's
yet,
the one.
but I have dreams, and we're gonna get it out there
We're gonna
soon.
push her. We're gonna push her to, because that's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And you what? Well, first of all, I'm going to say something about Jessie as well. I don't read horror. I don't like dark stuff. So I do write happy endings, and I usually don't like books without a happy ending. But when I read Porcelain, I was like, what? Because we kind of read almost, because Jessie writes a lot of stuff, so it was hard to catch up. But we had read most of her stories before they came out to light. So I was reading Porcelain, and I didn't know what to expect, because again, I don't do horror, but I was so swept away by the story. It was like this broken character that spoke to me so much. And even though she was so hurt and so broken, it was like, I want to know more about her. I want to cuddle her. And this is, again, this is not a happy ending book exactly, because it's horror, but it is. And she has another one, a shorter story about in horror, that is my hands down favorite, that I hope one day it will see the light, because it really deserves a spotlight.
Someday.
Excellent. I'm excited. I have to say that of the three authors here, I have not read anything from Jessie yet, and I've been wanting to, and part of the reason I haven't known where to start. So now I think I know where to start. Maybe with your intro pack. The ones that you're the one that you have from your some of your different series bundled together, and read it. But from everything from everything that I'm hearing here, I am very excited to check out your writing because I love dark fantasy. I do like horror as well. So, and I like sci fantasy as well. So,
She's
yeah,
gonna be your next favorite
You'll enjoy
author. I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah.
You can't
right.
go wrong starting anywhere. Like
Yeah.
they're all really good. So
Yeah, it's funny how this all came about because I met Tracy at work, and we found out that we're each both writing books and stuff like that, and I read the first initial drafts of A Bird Among Wolves, and then fell in love with that story, and then she introduced me to Alihia and to Jesse, and that's how this all happened. If any of you out there are wondering, and then when I read Crimson Coronation, I laughed so hard on the what was it? I can't remember what you call it now, but on the thank yous in the beginning, she basically said, you know, to Lehia and to Jesse, this is all your fault.
it is. It was their idea. They're like, hey, you should write this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so it was great. Yeah, these three have a magical friendship and camaraderie and work together so well. I think it's really cool. So I'm so glad to have you all on.
Thank
And
you.
What
yeah,
about your work, Chaz? We want to
okay,
hear more about what you write. And
sure.
I know I've read some of it, but yeah, let me hear
Okay.
it.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, my name on here is Chaz, but my name is Charles McGarry. I do have 2 books published so far. I'm a fantasy author, although, hey, cats are going wild out there. They pick the worst times to fight, you know. Um, so yeah, I do write fantasy. My most recent book, The Nomad's Crucible, is sci fantasy, kind of a post-apocalyptic world, but it's heavier on the fantasy than the science. But there are some technological elements in it, and it's about an assassin known as the Nomad who goes on a journey of self-discovery, more or less, throughout when he lands a particular job, it sends him on a journey of self-discovery. So that's the best way I can sum it up. And then my first book, Talendor's Guest, has been compared to a Canterbury Tales format. So it is a collection of short stories, but it has a framed story that kind of introduces each one, and so it's that one was fun as well. So both of these are currently available. You can get this one. Well, you can get them both on Amazon currently. I'm figuring out other venues as well. Talendor's Guest I did it through Ingram Spark as well, so it can be purchased through other venues, I think. But also looking at options for eventually selling the ebook on my own website as opposed to just on Amazon. But Kindle Select is hard to break the golden chain of right now. So, but yeah. So those are my books, and
I'll jump in really quick. I do
Okay.
want to talk about your books because I've read them and they're really good. I feel like everyone's horn needs to be tooted a little bit, but really, Chaz, like just watching your evolution as a writer and going through the indie publishing and just kind of learning the ropes and just it's been really incredible to watch you kind of pioneer all this stuff
Thank
from
you.
an early start. And it was really neat to see Talendor's Guest take on the form. I know kind of like the background to it, there it was a little shaky because of outside things going on with the publishing and all that, but like just the way that you rose from that whole mishap and just like took over and, republished that. And it's such a good story. And the really cool thing, the thing that I really appreciate about his stories are they're very like you can feel that sense of nostalgia with like the heavy fantasy, but it's not so heavy that it's inaccessible. And his worlds are really creative. And just like Talendor's Guest, like they are a bunch of short stories, and it's almost in a way kind of how I feel with Jesse. I'm just like, oh my gosh, where's this all coming from? But so many good ideas and just so many cool worlds. And I remember the Nomad's Crucible too, being able to read early versions of that and just watching that story kind of evolve into what it is today. It's really cool. So it's definitely worth checking out. Anyone out there who enjoys, straight up fantasy, a little dark, but you got to have that dark in there. Personally, I think a little bit of it.
Yeah,
So.
you three are dark. I'm a little bit on the light
You've
side.
got some darkness
Have
in there
light.
too.
Especially
We're
that la-
gradients.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially that last book in my. I mean, I think in my fantasy series it became like light and it's becoming darker. But anyway, right now I was going to tell you, Chaz, that I have the Noma's Crucible and that's on my TBR, and I want to read it because who doesn't want to read about a killer on a path of self-discovery? That sounds
Yeah.
so cool.
Mhm.
You got me with that. It was like, I mean, I already knew that I wanted to read it, but now that you say that, you sold it to me. So I was like,
Oh, thank you.
I need to read that. Yes, because I read a lot of indies. Of course, I read my girls' stories from the start. But yes, I think there's a lot of beautiful books that are not discovered in the industry. So and we just need to push ourselves a little bit more. And I think that's one of the things that make us, Tracy, Jess, and I, so strong together. And you say that, Chaz, um, how to pump ourselves up, how to. That's why we cheer each other. That's why we say that. Not because you're like, oh yes, 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 we love your book. No, because we really feel that book. Really feel those characters. We've known these characters for a long time. I myself, I'm sorry, maybe I'm going to a different path, but I myself love when a story has time to evolve. It's like a good wine, and that's my preference, of course. But when you see as a writer, you add layers and you incorporate sometimes feedback from the critiquers, and it makes it like a stronger story. And I have nothing against stories that are rapidly published, but I do enjoy it when it's like a process because you start getting to know the characters more. It's like a sense of I know them. I don't want them to let go. They're part of me now. I mean, Tracy was talking about Jess' particular story that hasn't been published. We know those characters because we met each other with that story, and we read like a couple of versions of that story, and we heard a lot of that story, uh, and we know those characters. There are those characters that are with us, and that's one of the things that I love about stories.
Mm,
You gotta
absolutely.
do that.
You guys
No,
can't
that's
pressure me
great.
to put that story out anymore.
Yeah.
Because Lahia made me promise not to behead one of the characters, and now I need to think of a new thing to do for that plot point because I can't behead her anymore, which
Yeah.
was perfect.
No. Tracy and I mean, we were reading the second book, and she was like, "No, you can't do that." We were outraged. We were
I was
outraged.
pretty upset.
Yeah. But the real the stuff is that they both gang on me, along with my publisher Kelly. They gang on me because I wanted to do something in my last book. I can't say, of course, and they were like, "No, you can't do that." I'm like, "Come on, you're the dark. You're the dark.
I'm dark,
I'm
but
the
you're
light."
not. I can do things that you cannot do.
And I was like, "Come on!" So they made me promise. I said, "Okay, I won't do this, but you won't behave this character."
So that's how we bartered for a character to live.
Nice.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Yeah.
Well, I did want to draw attention here real quick. We've got a few people watching that have said hi. Kelly Colby is here,
Okay. Hi.
and Dark Stars Book Cavern is here. I've been following her for a while. She's awesome. Kelly says, share the Kickstarter on our CDS
Ooh.
Discord.
I will do that.
Good.
And I will share the link to the Kickstarter in the description below too. That's one thing I forgot to do, but I will add it to the description, because the links for all of these wonderful ladies are in the description as well, where you can find their stuff. But I'll add the Kickstarter as well.
It's so worth it. Yeah. Sorry.
I am ready with props. I gotta show off my girls. I have Tracy's other book too, but she never talked about it.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
That was my first published short story. Yeah, Pirates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. All of the stories in that book were amazing. So
I am the mean one.
What that?
Responding to the chat.
Oh,
I am in fact
yeah.
the mean one.
Tracy is the nice one, Jesse is the mean one, and Likia is the enthusiastic one. Okay.
Kelly pegged us correctly.
I'm surprised I get okay.
Yes. You know, let me tell you this little anecdote, a little story. I just mispronounced that other word, sorry. When we found each other, we were in this site, you know, with a lot of authors, and we will critique our stories. I will always receive Tracy's feedback, because she was so nice.
Tracy was so sweet.
So sweet. And she will tell you, this doesn't work, honey. Well, she will not say honey, of course. This doesn't work. But she said it in such a nice way that you will go, oh, yeah, she's right. And it won't hurt. But Jessie and I were meaner. Jessie was the mean one. I'm always scared of her, but she's so good. I mean, she tells you right on the spots, like, no, you know what? This is not working.
And I don't it's not intentional to be mean. I don't know Tracy's magical language to say things nicely. I don't have the magic. If I say things, I have to say them my way, and apparently I'm very mean.
Which is hilarious, because I'm dead inside, and that's why I wear a lot of black.
You're not dead inside.
Somehow I'm nice. I don't know. I just don't understand it.
You're so nice. You just don't know it. But yeah, I can read her, except for the last book in my series. I told these girls they alpha read my book for me, because I am more afraid of Kelly. She's hearing right now, but I am more afraid of Kelly. So I told them I don't want to be afraid of Kelly. Please be mean to my book. Tell me everything that doesn't work. Just remove your gloves. And I think that's the first time that Tracy did remove her gloves, and she was like with a machete, and she was like, "No, come."
Apparently, Kelly agrees. She says she's a mean editor.
She is. I already say that.
Jesse, you got a fan of the Bone River cover.
I love it. I love my cover artist. He's amazing.
Not only that, you know, Jessie, she's also been shy about it, but she is sketching her characters.
Say that.
And she just sketched Flint with Flint.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Flint.
It's such a beautiful picture.
She's so vulnerable and so badass in a good way, because sometimes I think badass characters are sometimes overrated. This is a very well sketched character of a strong female that also vulnerable. Well, a little bit, a little bit. And I love Flint. And she just did a sketch in her Instagram profile. She has an Instagram profile for her sketching that is just beautiful, beautiful.
It really is
fantastic.
If you see me doing this or doing that, is because I have my cat. My cat it's demanding scratches, so I need to leave a little bit. Dark Star says she's just mean.
Yeah. And
snarky,
but nice, Tracy.
I don't know about that. I still don't think I'm very nice. Okay, maybe a little bit, whatever.
I think you're nice. I've known you for, gosh, let's see, 10 years, 12 years at least.
13 probably, going on 13 probably.
Yeah. And I think I can qualify as a person that can say you're nice.
If I like you, I'm nice. There we go.
You know, I saw a lot of your critiques in other stories, Tracy, and you were always so constructive in a nice way. Yeah.
Tracy is the person you want to have on your side when you get a bad review on your book.
Yes.
Or a good review. Like, she is perfect for both of those. You get a bad review, she is like more angry
I'm
than
out
you
for
are.
blood.
She will track that person down to find out things to tell you why you shouldn't pay attention to what they're saying.
Don't write bad reviews for us. Don't.
Yeah.
She'll hunt you down.
I may
She'll put you in
feed
her
I
book.
may feed bad reviewers to werewolves. Not my bad reviewers, because that would not be a good
Kelly
thing.
said
But
that we
they're
drug you
bad
all over.
reviewers.
What do you mean we drug you all over San Antonio, Kelly?
Well,
She
I had
drug
a
you?
good time. I got to go
I
with
think she said
Kelly
she drank.
around San Antonio, and we had a good time. That tiki bar was amazing.
Ooh, hey, you have me at Tiki Bar. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It was good.
Well, that's fantastic. I would love to know, because each of you kind of have a different journey as it relates to your publishing journey. And I know Leah is more of a hybrid author. Sounds like you're doing a little bit of hybrid, Jesse, and I know Tracy has mostly. I'm pretty much done self-publishing, and I tried a publisher at one point. We can talk about that later, maybe, if you want to. But I would love to hear your journeys and how you got where you got, how you chose the path you chose.
I'll start.
Sure.
I wanted to go traditional, and I was putting things out on Wattpad. But as I tried to go traditional, I had enough short stories picked up by places like professional publishing rate type places where it gives you pride. I had stuff published by some of the big 5 publishers, but again, short stories, nothing that, but it was enough to like put on my resume to say, look, I know I can do it. And then when it came down to making my choices, I'm like, I don't know that I want this journey. I want the control over my work. I can't emotionally take sending my stuff to get rejected constantly. And then it just, the emotional toll of that. And then when I looked into what I was getting back for doing doing the traditional path, I'm like, I'm not getting anything for this emotional torture. I know I'm good enough. So the only reason I'm still trying for it at that point is to get the validation of an editor or an agent saying you're good enough. And I'm like, okay, I know I can tell myself, at least as a writer, I am good enough. So that's the point where I decided to go ahead and self-publish. And I was doing that for a while. And the reason that I did Porcelain with Kelly was because I knew her. I had worked for her as a developmental editor. I knew her through Tracy. Lahia had published with her. I had met her at a conference, and I liked her and I liked her business. And because what I was publishing up to that point was all dark fantasy type stuff, either in space or on Earth, but I was like, I have this horror that's sitting on the back burner that just doesn't fit the umbrella I'm publishing under. So I'm like, I can take this and put it here in this and see if it works. And it was something fun that I could do on the side. And I liked working with Kelly. So that's sort of why I did the hybrid avenue. It wasn't like I need to, it was I want to. I want to work with her. I want to publish a story. And the experience was wonderful. The editors she works with are all great. She's great. The community is great. So I think that covers me.
That's fantastic. And Kelly says she's going to get you, Tracy, eventually.
She should. She should. I mean,
something. I have to put something with Kelly.
No, that's awesome. It's lovely to hear your journey, Jesse, and the successes you've had. I mean, even getting short stories with traditional publishers is really something, because most people don't even get that. It's very hard to get in with traditional publishing. So that's awesome. I love it. Love to hear it. Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
yeah, I can go next.
Okay.
Because we are actually on timeline. I mean, Jess published first, that I went, and now Tracy. So I think Jesse touches something very, very important. That is how you feel. publishing is a very, very personal decision, how you want to publish. It depends a lot on who you are, what route do you want, and how do you want to do it, right? And I discovered, and I agree with Jess in that part, that it needs to be something that brings me joy with whom I'm working with, right? To me, writing, and it's a reflection of why I write. I am not 100% commercial in the way that I do need to love what I write. So what I write is what makes me passionate. I am very, very passionate about my work, about my stories, and I want to be passionate about the publishing as well. And it can be very harsh. It can be something very difficult. And again, it depends on what you're looking for. So in my case, it was kind of funny because I wanted, as I think a lot of first writers, newly writers wanted to go to the traditional route, right? And especially because I didn't feel confident. I would say, oh, and English is not my native language. I don't know. I don't think self-publishing is going to be for me. So I scratched that at the beginning. But then I went to this writing seminar that Tracy dragged both Jesse and me there. This woman named Kelly, that she is here. And we just clicked immediately. We talked about it. We joked. And I was not planning to go with a publisher house like that because, I wanted to dream big, blah, blah, blah. But I talked, we had this Zoom together and it was amazing. Like, it was like, I want to work with her. I want to work with her. So this is the result. See, look at this. Look at this beautiful book. I'm sorry, I'm so proud of this. It's a gorgeous book. And this is with Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. So my fantasy series, as I was explaining, is with her. So I have the Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing and Small Pop. And as Jesse was mentioned, there's a great community. You have a lot of support. It's small enough that you feel that you're part of something.
Yeah.
And I also have the traditional experience because this book, I'm sorry, I just can't. I need to put it again. This book was picked by one of the top 5 in Mexico. So it's published in Spanish. And I did get to experience also the traditional route, to be a traditional editor with a book launch, the big works and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But as Jesse was pointed out, and I remember Kelly once mentioning to me, you will go crazy with traditional. You don't have the patience to wait for all of that. And to wait for the slow machinery. And I said, you know what? I like control. And then I suddenly say, you know what? I know now enough of the publishing industry that I feel I can go indie with some of the books. Like 700 Beachfront, the one that Jesse and Tracy were showing the book in there, which I don't still have. I will have it until next month, long story. Yes, that one. That story is a standalone. It's a magical realism romance, a quirky beach read, and it doesn't fit in like in any umbrella. And like it's not a series, it's standalone. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and publish it. And it's I think it's amazing because you understand all, not all, but part of how they work. So I have a indie self-published book. I have a series with a small publisher, and I have one book traditional published. And you get to see what goes with you, really, what fits with you. And I think that's amazing that I have this opportunity to be able to do this. And I like working with small publisher, and I like working with as indie because it has a nicer like more human type, of approach. And my soul craved that. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Kelly says Maggie is passionate with everything she does. It's her strength. Yeah.
Thanks.
And can definitely see the passion. And it sounds like you had a great journey, and you've still been able to retain some control with some of your writing and everything. So that's great. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now Tracy's time.
Yes.
Well, I was the last one to take the leap after watching them both go first. But, with my main story, Bird Among Wolves, I'd been working on that for so long. And very much like Jesse and Lehia, I think in the very beginning, we all had, stars in our eyes about the whole traditional publishing and like just the dream of being able to walk into a bookstore and physically see your book on the shelf, like on that front table at Barnes and Noble, and just be like, here's my book. And then the more I learned about publishing and just the traditional publishing industry in general, I actually got my master's in publishing through Western Colorado University with Kevin J. Anderson, who is a really good he has a really good grasp of both traditional and indie publishing. And I mean, he's just seen a lot in the whole publishing world. Um, and it was never his intent to dissuade his students or persuade them to not go traditional. But I just learned a lot through that program, not only to be able to outsource and, do these things myself. The common advice is don't do the cover yourself. If you're an author, don't do it. And generally, yes, I don't listen very well, but anyway, that's besides the point. But I just kind of learned about all these different moving parts of publishing and, the editing that goes behind it. And, as a publisher, traditional publisher, it's a business. They have to make money. They have to be able to make money on these things. And they can't pour all this money into these small debut authors, and it's either sink or swim. So they'll take you on, and you got to be able to hold your own. And I watched a lot of friends have varying experiences with traditional publishing, and then after going through the master's program and just kind of looking around, I think I finally figured out I'm either going to do a small press or I'm going to do it myself. And it's actually kind of sad because I really wanted my book to be with Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing, so the three of us could each have a thing. But like after working on it, I realized this thing is so massive. This book like it's so big, it's fat, and that's an expensive book to publish, which I know, I'm very aware because I'm in the process of getting like printing quotes for it. And it's such a huge thing to take on. But the reason I decided to do Kickstarter myself is pretty much the control issues. And I think we're seeing a trend of we all have control issues as authors. But I watched a few friends go through Kickstarter. I didn't really know what it was at first. I'm like, isn't that like a GoFundMe? But it's not. And I actually got to participate in a Kickstarter loosely. I was a contributing author for this book. I'll put it in front of my face for a second. It's a coloring book by Tanya Hales. She's a very talented artist and author. But this coloring book is just so amazing. Like it's super cute.
Wow.
And so she does, anyway, I was a part of this project. I have a story in there that goes along with one of her illustrations. And I got to watch her do it, and it was just so much fun. I know on the back end there was a lot of work, but like just watching like all the people come together and all the extra swag, all the extra little tidbits that you get to create and make and share with people, that it goes beyond just putting your book up on Amazon or even just walking into a bookstore. Like I can create a playlist and give that to my readers. I can create, a downloadable map and give it to my readers. I can create bookmarks and give that to my readers. And, the more I got my hands into it, I was like, I want to do this. I want to create something, and I want something to be exciting because I'm going to publish it anyway. And if I'm going to publish it anyway, why not go out with a bang? And if anybody else wants a really pretty edition with gold foil and printed edges and a jacket with a case laminate underneath that's super blinged out, and
It's
like the extra
beautiful.
prologue,
Oh
like
my
and the
God, that's
ribbon
beautiful.
bookmark, like if anybody else wants that, cool, because I'm going to make it for myself. But if anybody else wants one, come aboard. And so that's kind of where this whole thing went. And I'm getting really excited about it because I'm putting it together. I'm creating a lot of like the graphics and things like that, myself with Photoshop and the banners and all of that. And it's a lot of work, but it's been so much fun. And it's so much fun that I'm trying to convince Jesse and Likia at some point to join me in this madness, because if you can't tell, I love to be stressed out and I love biting off way more than I can chew and then trying to swallow it down. But that's been my journey, and I'm like right in the middle of it. So I don't know, talk to me in like 6 months and maybe I'll be crying. Maybe it'll be different, but it's been fun so far.
She is talking herself down. She's saying that we did everything first, but this she's doing first. Neither of us have done this. I know that she knows people who have done it, but I don't believe she has people in her personal life who are helping, guiding her through it. She's doing all the research. She is doing everything herself, and she is jumping off that whatever herself. And I totally intend to follow her, but it's really nice to have her be doing the trailblazing, finding all the bumps. I'm sorry that you're finding the bumps, but
That's okay.
I'm glad I'm not.
You guys took a lot of bumps in other areas, so I'll take these bumps. It's fine.
We will benefit from your bumps in this area.
And I will share.
And she's doing a really great job with that. I've been involved in some, not involved as an author, but as the receiving end from a Kickstarter, backing up some projects and receiving the goods. And so what I see with Tracy, I mean, she's doing because she's very passionate about her own work. She has this magnificent world that she has built in years. That I was talking about, this, having these layers and this letting the story simmer and the characters gain personality. So she's been doing that for years. She has prequels, she has stories. She knows she has the prequel from the main character's fathers, and she has written that story. So she has this huge world which works beautiful. It's an amazing world that she has. And she's making it happen. I know she doesn't believe that, but I want to tell her here that I know it's going to be a great thing, and this Kickstarter is going to be amazing because she's really putting so much. Oh, here comes my cat. Yeah, sorry. So much passion and so much love and so much effort into this that. Yeah, it's so inspiring to see her doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And by the way, in case you were wondering, I should have said earlier, you can say kick ass on the stream. It's totally okay.
Kick ass.
But yeah, we're good. Apparently Kelly has a story in the coloring book as well.
Yep. It's in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I'm definitely excited to see your journey with this Kickstarter, Tracy, and I'm sure I'll be getting text messages from stressed Tracy trying to.
Yep. I'll probably drag you to Starbucks so you can listen to me cry.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes for you. So, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So, I'll just briefly talk about my publishing journey, because I want to give us opportunity to talk about other things too. But I originally self-published Talendor's Guest. Gosh, was it 2014, Tracy? I think it was 2000.
I think it was. Yeah.
But it was under a different name. It was called Dragon Shorts, a collection of outlandish tales. So it was just a short story collection. And then I got I'm trying to figure out how to say it, because I want to be kind. I got picked up by a small press that I had heard about through a podcast, and I won't give their name because they're gone now, basically. And I was with them for not quite a year, and the person who ran the publisher convinced me that short story collections from unknown authors don't typically sell that well unless you're a big name like Sanderson or something like that. And so they asked me to try and figure out a way to make my book a novel. And so I did. I came up with the frame story for the book and reworked a few things, and it eventually became Talendor's Guest. And out of all the things that happened with that publisher, I am extremely happy with what happened with this book, because it was just the kick in the ass that I needed to make the story, make the book somewhat more presentable and something that would get a wider reader base. I'm very happy with how it turned out. That publisher eventually went defunct, and to this day, I'm not sure if all of the authors got their royalties. We all got our rights back. I do know that. I got my rights back and republished Talendor's Guest in 2016. But to this day, I don't know if all of the authors got all of their royalties. I don't know if my cover artist was ever fully paid. She was amazing, but I don't know if she ever fully got paid. And most of the authors kind of dropped off the map, unfortunately, and are not really doing much with writing that I know of. The only one that has achieved wide success, you may have heard of him, is Graham Austin King. He's the only one that survived that whole debacle, or debacle, however you say it. And he, I think he did so partly because he jumped out early when he saw the writing on the wall. And that was before I ever got connected with this particular publishing company. So I'm very happy that he's had the success he has, and his books are quite good. So after doing that, I was determined to continue self-publishing from there on out, partly because I do like control, like you guys do. I like having control over my story. I like being able to get the majority of the money my books make in my hand, as opposed to having to go through a publisher, and that's not to say that's wrong, because the publishers need to get paid. That's how they make money, kind of like you said. But I like not having to go through a middleman as well. That's not to say I would never do it, but I'm just kind of jaded at this point, if that makes sense. After
Makes sense.
what happened,
And
Charles
is kind of, being very
modest.
The way you phrased it made me think there was probably a much meaner way to tell that story.
there is a much meaner way to tell the story, but he's being very
Polite,
kind,
diplomatic.
very polite, diplomatic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and watching Charles go through that, and like I said earlier, just kind of rise from the ashes of all that, and he's still published, and he still went out there, and like you said, unfortunately, not everybody felt that way to move on. But those of us that are crazy enough to keep going, here we are.
Yeah,
You said it right. Crazy enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to be crazy a little bit. Have something crazy to be an author. Yeah.
You do. Yeah. You really have to have that overarching drive to get your story out there, no matter what happens. Yeah.
There has to be a reason to keep going. I think there's so much punishment, and this industry is so hard. Whatever your underlying reason is.
Yeah.
I think you have to have that passion beneath it, to believe in your story somehow, and say, you know what, I want it out, no matter what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You fell so many times. You fall so many times. And these girls, I love them so much, because I tend to lose faith of me. Oh no, I'm gonna cry. Stupid. And they push me up again. They're like, they believe in me, they believe in my stories, and I believe in them. I believe in them stories, and we have so much strength together, which I think that's important, because being a writer sounds like a lonely job, but it's not. It doesn't have to be that way. You can find people who help you, push through this madness, right? To
Yes.
to keep going and remember that you have that purpose, you have that spark, you have that shine. And sorry, Chaz, you were still talking about that, and I jumped in, but go
Oh
ahead.
no, you're fine. I was done. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
But that's why you decided to self-publish at Nomad's Crucible, right?
Yeah, that's why I continued and did Nomad's Crucible self-published, and I met through a mutual friend. I met an amazing cover artist named Kat Fiscaletti, and she did the cover of Nomad's Crucible for me, and she was just an absolute gem to work with. And she's a fantastic artist, and she does a whole lot of different kinds of art, but I was really impressed with what she put together for this, and I couldn't be happier with the covers. So, yeah,
Great
and
cover.
yeah, it is, and it's the downside of doing it all yourself, right? Is you either design the cover yourself or you pay out money to have it designed. And I'm artistic, but I'm not nearly as artistic as Tracy is over here. So I went the route of paying for my cover, and it's not cheap, but it's definitely worth it. And I would totally do it again. But publishing houses definitely have advantages in that respect, because you get to work with a collective of people who are putting in the work for other aspects of your book that you can't do. So there's definitely advantages to it, and it sounds like Kelly here has just been fantastic for all of you, and crazy enough to keep going as a small press. Yeah, the small presses are hard to maintain in the world of the big five for sure.
It's a
So
tough business.
yeah, but yeah, you did give great advice. Yeah, and yeah, but yeah, it's definitely been a challenging experience, but I think I'm better for it. It's definitely ended up in a positive experience. So yeah.
Well, and I think part of like what happened to you and like watching what happened to you kind of turned me a little bit too. So it's like it has this ripple effect, and
Mhm.
what we share as authors and writers with each other about our struggles.
Yeah.
I watched what happened to you, and you overcame it. But then it got me thinking, like, gosh, man, maybe I really do want to have that control myself. And it took me a little while to really put the idea to rest of traditional publishing and just moving on. But definitely, watching what you went through was it was a change for me too. So,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that probably echoed through to Leah and Jesse as well, so
Oh
it's kind of
yeah,
interesting.
Tracy is a big part of why I decided to self-publish this book. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it's not the right fit for a publisher or the direction you're going with your publisher, you still want to get your story out, right? And self-publishing is definitely a good way to go with that. Yeah, and especially when uh, publishers, whether small or large, they do often tend to want series. It's very rare that you get a publisher that wants to do just a standalone.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to have the option of self-publishing a standalone, and not to tout and shout the praises of a big, multi-billion-dollar author. But Brandon Sanderson has also done a lot of good for hybrid publishing, because he's shown that you can do things outside of the traditional publishers, even though he has the money to do it. But I'm sure he's inspired a lot of people to go that route as well. And
Like his fantastic Kickstarter after the pandemic,
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah,
legendary Kickstarter. Yeah, he did.
yeah, legendary Kickstarter. And the thing I loved about that is not only did he make all that money on the Kickstarter, but then he turned around
Mhm.
and uh, promoted and
He backed a bunch of other.
basically helped other Kickstarters be able to fund.
Yep.
With
Yep.
he spent money on smaller Kickstarters, and I thought that was awesome. So there's a lot of good out there that's happening in the publishing industry, and but yeah, it does tend to uh, focus on series, and with my books too. Even though all my books are connected, they're standalones. Not to say I would never write a series, but as of right now, all the stories I have in my head are standalones, even though they have a overarching connected world that they're part of. They're all standalones, so that makes it harder too, for sure.
But there, I think there's also great things about standalones. Sometimes readers, and this is for myself, and I also seen other readers' comments in Facebook groups, that sometimes they get tired of this long series, and they want something like, we want standalone, something to refresh my mind, and sometimes you just, or you just don't want to commit to a long series. I mean,
Right.
besides Jim Butcher, which is my hands down favorite author, and and I'm so excited as you are for his next book.
Yes.
I have read all of his books, but it's very weird for me to do that. I usually prefer something small, no more than a trilogy. So I kind of like that as a reader. So I reflect that as an author. I also have some standalones that worry me because, as you say, well, they're not what publishers want, but I do love standalones. I love to, because it just makes me say, okay, I want to just dive into this story and just forget about, I just want one good story that I want to get myself into, and that's it. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of value in standalones as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people in my sphere on BookTube that really talk about how much they love standalones. Dark Star is one of them. She prefers standalones, and Kelly does too, apparently. So that's good. But
Read my book, Kelly. Read my book.
Yeah.
as a small press, she says, I can't advertise a standalone and make any money. Book one is the loss leader, and that's absolutely. That
True.
makes perfect sense.
Which, as someone who indie publishing stuff, it's something you have to keep in mind when you're putting out the standalones, because that people out there will love them, but also as a relatively unknown name, you may get your followers to buy it, but beyond that, it's not easy to advertise. So it's like you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're creating a standalone, that this probably isn't going to sell massive numbers.
Right.
I have one. It's a collection of short stories, and it's a standalone. But it's one of it sells. It has made me more money than almost anything else. But I also didn't put any money into it, so it's easier to make money off of it.
Yeah.
But it's a Christmas horror story collection.
Oh, that's awesome.
Every Christmas it sells. It just sells itself. People are like, from Halloween to Christmas, it just. But I went into it knowing that this wasn't something I was going to be able to advertise and make money off of. If that makes sense, or maybe I'm just kind of crazy.
Perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure your other all of your other books in your catalog help to sell that one as well.
Yeah, and that's something about having a larger catalog, is if someone finds a series and they like it, they can move on to any of your little standalone books that appeal to them. So you get cross sales having them sit there. So they sell, people enjoy them, but from my perspective as an indie author, you just have to go into them with a different mindset. You don't go into them thinking this is going to be a bestseller. You don't go into them thinking I'm going to advertise this and it's going to hit the list. You go into it thinking people are going to enjoy this. I'm going to put this here, and the people who will enjoy it are going to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic advice from your experience. Well, I would love to talk about some things that you're working on, and I know I think we've got book 4 coming, Ligia, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, then we've got
Yeah,
book 4 coming, and then
yeah.
I'd love to hear about all of your other projects as well, from all of you ladies. That'd be awesome. So yes.
So basically, as you know, well, I have the my Brada E Pledge series with Curse Dragonship Publishing. I have 3 books out, and I just sent book 4 to Kelly, who's here. She has the book in my hands. I'm very excited and terrified because it's the last book, and it has to be powerful enough. But I'm very proud of that book. So that one, it's still ongoing because we still need to make it pretty, make it better. She just said she's a mean editor, so yeah, she knows what I'm talking about. So, so I have that one, and it's going to be very. I'm very proud because that's going to complete the series. So I'm going to have a complete series out. So it's already there. I have the standalone that I just released, the magical realism book that I was talking about, but I also have some stories. They are all in the same umbrella of the Brother E Pledge series. They are
Oh,
fantasy. They have a lot of adventure. I'm actually working on this. It's a standalone. Tracy says that she might be able to turn it into a duology. I think
Well, I
she's
will
gonna
be able
push
to.
me to do that. So I'm working on this. This is a very weird Avatar-like story with a full of adventure. This one um, differently from my other books is in third person, and it's only his POV, and it's kind of fun because I really love writing on the male's point of view.
okay,
Oh, sorry, my cat again. Come
that's
on.
quite all right.
Yeah. So I have that one, and I have another that has my heart. I've been meaning to go there, and that's going to be a duology. And again, Tracy says that she's going to make it to she's going to push me to make it to a trilogy. I have this other. This is my first epic fantasy or high fantasy story. It's also fantasy romance. This is the most crazy in terms of magic and world building that I have, and political as well. So it has some political things and a lot of adventures. I love this story. It has my heart completely, and I've been trying not to go in there because I know I'm going to get lost on it. So that's going to be a trilogy, possibly a trilogy that I have. And besides that, I have a lot of ideas also for other in the same venue. So that's my brand. This is going to be fantasy, adventure, and romance. That's what I have. Not exactly in the same order, but the idea is they don't fight for each other. I try to make a balance because that's what I love. So yes, there's going to be a lot of books from me. You hear from me because there's so many stories and so little time to write them.
Yes. Yes, agreed. Well, I'm excited to see what comes from that, and hopefully be able to read that one. And I'm really excited for book 4 in the Berdays Pledge,
Me too.
to see how that one ends. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm
Oh
very
yes, I have a 5th book, also spin-off from that Brother East Place. There's a couple that appears in book 4 that I kind of like fell in love with them. So I already have that partially thought of. So yeah,
Oh, that's great. That's exciting.
yeah. I don't know if Kelly knows that, but she knows now.
She knows now. Yeah.
Surprise.
Oh, that's awesome. How about you, Jesse?
Well, the 5th book in Aspect of Versus is going to be coming out. Aspect of Bone.
Okay.
And I'm excited for that. There is 6 books in that series total. And so that's the big thing I'm working on sort of public facing right now, is because it will be coming out soon. But I also have a trilogy that is finished behind the scenes. I just haven't worked all the way through it and put it out. And that one I may be trying Kickstarter with. It's my Wandering World series. And it's kind of it's an old game, so I know, but it's kind of my stories will often have a seed of a game I'm playing where the story in the game doesn't do what I want it to do. So I'm like, okay, my character that I've created is now a real person to me. So I must extract them from the game, take this story and write a whole world around it. So Dragon Age 3 had this plot line in it that I was frustrated with, and Dragon Age 4 is recently coming out, but it didn't finish the plot line how I wanted, and plus I'd already written a trilogy to finish it the way that I wanted it to happen.
Right.
And it's not written in a Dragon Age world. I created a whole world of my own. It's just that's the seed that it comes from. And it's this magical adventure in a fantasy world. I don't know what else to say about it. They haven't read it.
Parts of it.
Just parts of it, ideas, and we see her enthusiasm behind it. So we're very, very, very enthusiastic with her as well.
But that's kind of, I'm working on those two right now, mostly. We'll see. Wandering Worlds is probably the most, like, I don't know, it really is. It's an adventure story, which everything I do is. It's world building is what I enjoy doing the most. So it's all about the world and characters who function within the world and the odd little magic worlds. But it's a story of saving the world, but it's also kind of a twisted romance, I guess.
Which is nothing surprising.
Well, that's very exciting, Jesse, and just more to add to your catalog, which is quite big. So that's exciting, and yeah, if you could start that would be awesome. Yeah, you can get all the deeds from Tracy about what to do and what not to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she'll still do better than me because she's amazing, but that's okay.
Right.
She is. You both are.
And Kelly says, we're moving our morning writing sprints to 8 to 10 Central. You can roll out of bed and write with us. Wow, that's fantastic. I'm excited. I'm very excited to explore your catalog, and definitely sounds like I'll find some books that I will quite enjoy. So when you finally bring this trilogy to life and get it out there, it'll be exciting to see it happen. Yeah. So Tracy, I know you've got the Kickstarter and Bird Among Wolves and everything. So I'm sure that's consuming a lot of your time. Do you have anything else you're toying with or working with?
So the second book has already been written, and I do plan to get that out next. I know a lot of people who picked up the ARC have been asking, when is book 2 coming? When is book 2 coming? I gotta survive the Kickstarter first. But the good thing is book 2 is written. It needs editing because it's been written, but it's been written through once. So I have a draft, but it needs to be edited. So we'll be doing that. And it's funny because book 2, originally this whole thing, I planned it to be a trilogy. And Chaz, I know when we first talked, I'm like, oh yeah, trilogy. And the more I got into the world, the deeper I got into the world, I realized this is not a trilogy. The story is not going to be able to wrap up. And I realized that when I was writing book 2, and I was in denial about it, but I was writing it and I got up to like 180,000 words at one point, and I was like, okay, like maybe I do have 2 books in here. So I technically have book 2 written and then half of book 3 written of that. So book 2 will come out after the Kickstarter, after I get my hands on it to edit it a little bit. But then in that, I know Lehia and Jesse had mentioned earlier, I do have like prequel stories, not just Crimson Coronation, but probably the publishing order that I'm going to do. I've got A Bird Among Wolves, A Wolf Among Men, and then I'm going to have an interlude story that kind of comes out in the middle, and it will be the prequel of Ren's parents, and that one's called
That's
Traitor of Demora.
That's a beautiful story.
And it doesn't have, well, is it a spoiler to say it doesn't have a good ending? But
Anyone
I
who's
feel like
read
people
Bird
kind of
Among
know.
Wolves will know it doesn't have a
Okay.
good ending.
Well, if you've already read book 1, which is funny, like when people are reading it, they're like, "This is dark," and I'm like, "It's not dark." And then Jesse's like, "You have a hanging in chapter 1 with the nutcracker." I'm like, "Oh, well,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I
not
guess."
dark at all.
I
No.
guess. But Trader of Demora, I'm really excited for that because I guess that one is dark. It is okay, it is dark.
It is beautifully
It's
tragical.
tragic. Um, but it was a lot of fun to write, and I'm excited for that one. That'll be an interlude story between books 2 and 3, and then I have the outline for the prequel. For anyone who has read Ulfred, and you know Ulfred and the twins, you get Ulfred's prequel. How did he become who he is within the Brotherhood? And you learn more about his gift and where it comes from and the history behind it and the things that he did to kind of sever ties, the dark ties that the Brotherhood had, and the reason why he's so close with the King of Redvale. So that one will probably come out after the main series finishes. We'll see. But that one's been a lot of fun because there's a main character in that one, Ruel. She's the one who eats all the people that I don't like, and she's pretty cool. She's a werewolf, so I'm not writing about cannibals really, but yeah. So I'm excited about that. And then beyond this world, I actually halted. I was writing kind of a YA urban fantasy called
Oh my God.
Sarah the
Yes.
Salaryman Slayer,
We love it.
and it started out as a
Yeah.
joke because I lived and worked in Japan and we would deal with like drunk salarymen coming home and like they'd be passed out on the street or they'd be, inappropriate on the train and just kind of a blight on society. And anyway, I kind of just made this character up in my head. Oh, she goes around and she like slays misbehaving salarymen or something. But then it turned into something else. And it became a story about an exchange student. She's 16 years old. She goes and studies abroad in Japan. And she gets involved accidentally, releases this like ancient demon as she's going to go visit the shrine in Kyoto. She accidentally releases this demon. And she has to team up with this like 400-year-old fox demon who's a little bit arrogant and a little bit, snooty. But she has to team up with him and work with him to try to basically subdue this demon who is taking over salarymen because their hopes and dreams are just like they kind of become salarymen and their hopes and dreams are just fading
Crush.
and so they become very easy for these demons to possess. And so when you're out there in the streets at night in Osaka and you see like a salary man dragging himself through the streets at night, he could be possessed by a demon. But Sarah's having to track these demons down to try to stop them because they're killing people, they're spreading, and it's all tied to her. And all because of her stupid mistake. And so she's trying to fix that, and she has to work with this other demon and it's almost kind of like a portal fantasy but not really because she gets to go into like the demon yokai world and you get to meet other like mythological Japanese demons. So anytime we go back to Japan I always kind of like try to get some inspiration from that, but it was kind of cool because last couple times we went back I got to visit the shrines and kind of walk around the areas where I was basing the story. So I'll probably be releasing that via Kickstarter when it first comes out because I went to the shrine where the story starts, and I actually bought a lot of the charms from the shrine, and so I'm actually really excited to kind of give that out to backers of certain tiers to get actual charms and things from Kohaku's shrine where he guards and protects. So that'll
I
be
need,
coming later. So
I need this story, Tracy.
It's
It's
so
an
good.
amazing story.
It is a very good story.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
It's
Yeah,
I,
fun.
don't be fooled that it's a YA. It's so good.
I
Oh, there are some
love
of YA good
Japanese
stories.
folklore and stuff like that. And it just sounds amazing. Yeah.
it's a lot of fun to write. YA is not usually my thing, but at the same time, I remember as a teenager, I read some pretty dark stuff, and I feel like, teens should be respected enough to be able to handle certain themes. And I don't think
Great.
stuff should be candy coated or withheld from them in
Yeah.
some ways. I don't know. Maybe people listening to this are like, I'd never let my children read your books. You're awful.
Let's wait for your kids to be teenagers and we talk.
Yeah, but you know what?
I
don't
let
know,
my
like-
kid read your book, and he is a teenager. So
I know.
I wouldn't write anything that I wouldn't let my kids read. Or yeah.
oh, I would. My son is not allowed to read my books. Imagine me letting him pick up the Spider series.
Oh no. That's
fine.
creepy spiders in space, and it's so good. It's so good.
I think he'd probably
not my
really
thing,
like
but-
it. And he'd be like, wow, my mom wrote this. This is cool. And he'd take it to school, and then maybe you'll get a phone call from the school. But, you know, it's a pretty cool story. So
I remember I read Rising Sun by Michael Crichton when I was 16, I think. I probably shouldn't have read that book at 16, but I did.
That happens to me with Aztec. I was traumatized by it when I was a teenager. I think I read like a couple of chapters. Say no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. I waited a couple of years and I was like, oh, I'm so grateful I waited, because that book is something.
See, and I'm the opposite. Like I read a lot of stuff that you probably shouldn't have read at that age. But the thing is, I think I just skipped over the parts I wasn't ready for. Like I just speed read through the parts that I couldn't connect with.
Mm.
And I've heard people talk about that in their own writing. It's like when you're writing something that is controversial, especially for children, if you keep it vague, they won't know how to connect. They don't know what they don't know.
Mhm.
So if you're talking about a subject that kids shouldn't be exposed to, as long as you're not really, really explicit, kids won't be able to process it. So they're just going to breeze past it to something that is more engaging and interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good point. Teenagers can read poor.
I would agree. I would have loved it. I love it at any stage, though.
Oh, and she was reading Stephen King at age.
Okay, there you go.
Me
I
too.
read Stephen King when I was in high school,
So
and I
this
got
is
traumatized.
this is why I say, like, people give YA this like cushiony, like it's got to be cheery and sweet, and it doesn't have to be. Like, kids are reading Stephen King, they're reading horror, they are
Yeah.
reading heavy stuff, and this world is heavy. They're exposed to it.
To
So
be fair, I grew up with fairy tales, but the original ones, the
The
dark
dark
ones. The one from the Brothers Grimm, and the ones where the Cinderella stepsisters cut their toes and their ankles to fit their
Mhm.
bloody feet into. Why would they write that? But I read that and I love them. So yeah,
Mhm.
and I was not even a teenager; I was a child.
I
Right.
went through a phase when I was, I think, 12, where I was reading romance novels, but like the ones with Fabio on the cover, not light children appropriate romance novels. These had long extended scenes. And the thing was, I would get to them and be like, well, this is boring. I don't think I actually got any, like I wasn't exposed to anything because nothing permeated the shell.
Yeah. Kelly says marketed to teenagers and okay for teenagers to read are two different things.
100%.
Yeah. It's I think the divide between young adult and adult fiction is sometimes unnecessarily pushed. I don't think it's as clear of a division as the publishing world makes it out to be. I'll put it that way. Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I recently read the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. Fantastic series, and it's technically YA, but I loved it. I'm almost 50, and I love those books. So, yeah. Hey, we've got Danielle here from Bookara. Glad to see you, my friend. Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm really excited to hear about all the projects that you all got going on. And Tracy, like I said, I need that I need that young adult story that you just told us about.
I can get you a copy.
I need I definitely need more Ulfred. And so I love Ulfred. So
Yes, Alfred is awesome.
yeah.
I think I have a weird crush on him.
Awesome.
I already got my Gavin story, so I need to show
Yeah.
it.
Right? Yeah, very cool. Well, I guess I'll briefly talk about what I've got going on. I am eventually hoping to do a Kickstarter to maybe do hardcover editions of both of my first books. So I'll be picking your brain on that, Tracy, and I'm working toward recording the audiobook for both of my books as well. And I'm really excited because sometimes it's daunting to think about all the equipment and stuff like that you might have to purchase to do that. But then Apple recently announced that there are upgrades coming to the AirPods Pro for enhanced noise cancellation that may give me the ability to record them using my AirPods.
Wow.
So I'm very excited about that. Once it's coming, it's being upgraded in September. So I'll have to see how it works and see if it's going to be isolated enough for me to use those as my primary recording device. So we'll see. That's exciting because I've had people harping on me to get my audiobooks out for a long time. But I am working on two new projects. One is a novella, or at least at this point it's a novella, and it is codenamed Dreamer for right now. And it is kind of a prequel to all of my books, kind of an origin story of sorts. So I'm excited about that. Tracy has read the first few paragraphs that I've written on that, and she gave me some really good feedback because I was really struggling with the voice that I was going to use, whether third person or first person or hybrid of the two. And she said, well, for this kind of story, you might not need to worry about that as much. And I'm like, okay, maybe not, because it is kind of a fever dream type, very quirky story. So maybe changes in voice don't matter as much, but I'll have to see how that works. So thank you for that, Tracy. And then the other project is codenamed Ink, and it as I've been writing it, I didn't quite plan it this way, but it has turned into a fantasy noir. So it's going to be a mystery of sorts, and I'm very excited about it because I love fantasy noir, but I didn't necessarily envision this book being one. But our stories our characters and our worlds have a mind of their own, so it just kind of naturally went that way. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this. So pretty excited about that. And it is going to feature a character from Talendor's Guest called the Ink Master. So
that's a cool name for a character.
Yeah.
He's an arcane tattoo artist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So I had fun writing that story, and I'm excited to bring him into another of my books and figure out how to tell his story as part of that story. So he'll be a side character, but he's still a fairly involved side character. So that's what I've got going, and I've had a lot of writer's block lately. I haven't done a lot of writing, but it's coming along. So, And I've got time since I'm self-publishing. I can just get it out when I can. But I don't want it to turn into excuse me, I don't want it to turn into a George R. R. Martin 13-year span between books. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
we'll
not a
see.
good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Come right with us before work.
Yeah, I was just thinking you
might-
could go join the writing sprints.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. I need some I need some motivation, and other people would help, I think.
Yeah, I would like to do those writing sprints. I'll have to look into how early they still are, because I'm sure they're still ridiculously early.
Yeah, I think she said 8 to 10 Central, was it? So
10 to 9 your time?
Well, I'm
so that 2 hours.
That's like
I know
6.
it's 2 hours.
but
Starts at 6 a.m. Yeah.
yeah,
six
I'm not going to be, because even during the school year, I do have to get up at 6, but it's to take my son to school, so I'm not available till.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But it's a good idea to do writing sprints with people. It's a good idea to have yourself pushed because sometimes when you are on your own, when you're self-published and you don't have the deadlines, it feels easy to say, "Oh, okay, I'll do it tomorrow," or something like that. So having someone who pushes you, or be in these writing sprints or whatever, it helps you a lot. Like this Avatar-like story, Adventure Jungle, that I have going on. I decided to start sharing it with my girls, Tracy and Jess, because I say, okay, maybe it's not 100% ready, but if I start sharing with them, I'm going to feel the pressure that I need to make it well. It's very different when you write it for your own and then you give it to someone else, the editor, whatever, that when you're sharing a critique, someone who critiques your work, who's also a writer. That's so important to me. And it gives you a different mindset. So I shared the chapter to them, and then I go back. I just shared the first chapter, and I've been going back and forth several times, polishing things that I will not have polished if I will do it on my own.
Right.
So having people with you, and again, writing sprints in a writing group, in a critic circle, whatever, it really pushes you as a writer. And I cannot recommend it enough.
Any form of accountability, really. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's why it helps. Is like writing sprints is there's someone else who knows if you're doing it.
Yeah.
And with critique groups, they know if you don't turn in a chapter that week. And I always go over chapters before I turn them in, so they get an additional sweep of editing that they wouldn't get if.
Yes, exactly.
Any form of accountability.
Yes.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, I just I don't think I could do the 6 a.m. either, because it would be 6 a.m. for me too. But yeah, we'll figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely like to find a writing sprint that I can do, and I would love to do it with Kelly, but she is not in my time zone. And right now, it's even an hour closer, whereas when the time switches, my time is even an hour worse. So, sorry, Kelly, you do things too early.
Maybe I'll have to start joining. I'm like I don't know. I like getting up early. So.
Oh, well, that's great. Yeah. Although you've got one and getting ready to start school here too, Tracy, right? So
Yeah, actually, yep. He's in school now. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, but before he was born, and now
I know.
he's school age. It's like,
Now
wow.
he's like, he told me the other day he's a 7-year-old man. He's
Wow,
almost a
that's
7-year-old man.
Because I've known these girls for 11 years now. 11 years now.
I
A
think it
little
has
more.
to be because Alex is 13 now, and I think he was 2 when we met.
Yeah, I remember when he was a baby.
He was such a baby. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, it's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exciting. It's exciting times, and yeah, I definitely see the benefit in doing writing sprints, and I participated in a few, but I need to find time to participate in more, or maybe host some myself as well on my channel. So, get other people in, or do productivity sprints or something. So
That would be nice. Yeah.
yeah.
I think for me at least, the important thing about a sprint would have to be that I would actually have to be accountable to the people. If it's relatively anonymous and I could either be there or not be there and no one would really notice, then it's not going to help me at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, very true. Well, I know we've gotten to about the hour and a half mark, little over. How are you guys doing on time?
Well, I mean, the same amount of time has passed for me as for you, but I assume what you mean is, do we have somewhere we need to be right now? And no.
Yeah, like if you're needing to end things, or if you're wanting to kind of wrap things up. I know you've all got families and things to do, and it's a weekend, so I don't want to take too much of your time. So
I've got a little bit of time. I don't hear anyone killing each other in the other room yet. But
oh, that's good. That's all
That's
of
a
them.
good sign. That's a good sign.
I am out of coffee, so that is my only time limiting force right now. My kid's old enough, he doesn't demand attention, and my husband is home, so they can deal with themselves.
Yeah.
My kids are adults already, so I'm the oh my God, I just forgot the.
If you're gonna call yourself an old lady,
Yes,
I'm gonna come through there and smack you.
Crone. I was going to say the crone.
No.
So I have my kids are adults, so yeah, I think they can fend for themselves. So I have a little time, yeah, and then we can wrap it up. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's any other questions you want to ask us?
Well, I was going to ask if I was going to ask the question because I've heard this before and I thought it was a really good question. If you had unlimited resources to access for getting your stories out there, what would I'm not asking this right.
If we won the lottery, what we would do with our books?
Yes, yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. If you won the lottery, what would you do with your books? What would happen with your books? And I'm gonna post this comment from Kelly real quick. Let's do writing sprints. I would love to, but I do have to be done here in like 20 minutes myself. So that probably wouldn't work out, but we could do a future one. That would be awesome. I would love to do writing sprints with all of you in the future if we could work that out. So that would be awesome. But yeah, if you had unlimited resources, what would that look like for your writing and for your books?
First of all, I will quit my work. I have a day job, which is very stressful. Can be very, very stressful. I mean, it's a good job. I don't complain, but yeah, I will quit. I will dedicate myself to writing. I will do the masters that Tracy just mentioned because I think that's pretty awesome, and it's something that has been nagging at the back of my mind, which will help me also to understand more the publishing industry. Because one thing that I will really love, even though I understand the publishing industry better than what I did when I published my first book 2 years ago, I would love to understand more, to understand what is happening, what are the tendencies. So I would love to understand it more. So I would love to be involved more in that area. And I will certainly use it to do writing sprints with Kelly. I would love to do writing sprints with Kelly. And I will try, because I have so much ideas. I think I will either self-publish or maybe do a small pub somehow with my girls. I don't know. I'm just, this is just, I just thought about it, right? And to hire an assistant to help me with I certainly will have someone help me with the social media. I will pay for that. I will say, take care of it. I'll just look at it, but yeah, I will do that. And I will certainly, start, going to book fairs and things like that. That right now, because I'm in Mexico, it's kind of hard to do on live events, and I think those are pretty cool. I've done a few myself in Fan Expo Dallas, which are pretty awesome to interact with readers. I think that's a beautiful way to do it. So I will see the way to do that more. I think that's on the top of my head what I will do.
That's fantastic. I love it. Those are great ideas.
I can go
Cheers
next.
for me. Yeah.
I would probably keep making really pretty books. I don't know, print a whole bunch of beautiful editions of just gold foil and just go all out. But on that, I would take my coven, and anyone else who wants to tag along, but we would go on a book tour across the US, and we would just go to these eclectic coffee shop, book bars, whatever, and we would just go and sample the drinks and sell our books and just go there to have a good time and hang
Oh my
out
God.
and just enjoy each other's company and just make a big fun deal out of it. And then maybe we'll go to like conventions and stuff like that too, because I guess we probably actually have to do some work. But I'm all down for like sampling
Yes.
coffee and books and book bars. That would be so much fun to just go on a tour like that and then to not have to really worry about money and it'd be a lot of fun. So
That would be a lot of fun.
We've also always joked about buying like a vacation house where we could do writing retreats.
mhm.
Ooh,
And 100%, that would be amazing. We'd get our vacation house, do our writing retreat together, and we can invite other authors to join us.
Oh, yes.
We could do one in Japan. We could do one in Mexico.
There you go.
Do one
Love
up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
Like,
please. With those beautiful
all
trees of
these
yours.
different settings that we could get inspiration for our writing.
That's
And
so
we're
important.
eating
Yeah.
because it's too hot here.
And that's the fun answer. I think the big thing that I would realistically do it would be nice to have enough money that's free from family commitments
Yes.
to put into advertising, because it takes a long time to have turnaround on advertising money and to be able to just invest enough to actually make it work and figure it out and get it up and running.
That too.
Really nice to have that money on hand.
Yeah.
But if my lottery fund money is involved, I'm buying some properties to do writing retreats.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, those are all such great ideas. And when you were talking about the writing retreat house, it reminded me, I don't know if any of you are familiar with John Scalzi, but he bought a church in the town that he lives in that was for sale and redesigned it as his office building, writing retreat. They sometimes do concerts there and stuff like that, but it's really cool. So that when you were talking about that, Jesse, that reminded me of that. I'm like, oh, that would be an awesome idea. Yeah,
It is. I think we all have a great idea. How about you, Chas? What would you do?
Oh yeah, if I had unlimited money, I would definitely quit my job like you, Lee. Yeah, I would devote all my time to writing and still making booktube videos. I would still do that, but I would love to just write full time, and I would definitely hire marketing people like you, because I suck at marketing.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And the writing retreat sounds awesome. Just I mean, even being able, I would love to travel all over the world. So just being able to travel the world and find different places to write, and bring other people with me. I think that would be really awesome to be able to do, and maybe even bring a few other people into Eccentric Dragon Press, which is that's the imprint that I use for my books right now. But it would be cool to like have enough money to where I could hire editors and a marketing team and everything to not become a big scale publisher, but to have a few authors on hand that would like to join up and be part of Eccentric Dragon Press. So
So when do we win the lottery? I mean, any of us?
yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? I'm working on that. Not too hard. I don't really buy lottery tickets.
You have to start with buying.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there to the universe. I'm attempting that power of positive thinking thing, and one of these days, perhaps, right?
That will be the dream, definitely.
Yeah. It would be very nice to have, even if it wasn't a ton of money, it would be nice to have the freedom to spend more time in creative pursuits.
Can I count hiring a housekeeper as one of the things I would do?
Ooh, yes, you can.
That's smart.
I'd have so much more time for writing if I had a housekeeper.
You know, that's you can put that. You know, I need someone to help me out because I need time for writing. There you go.
It's true.
Yes, I agree. One of my loose goals one of these days, and this is something that is achievable because I know that you have all gotten together in Mexico to hang out and stuff like that, and I definitely want to make that happen one of these days. I would love to go down there. I'm a little worried about not going across the border into Mexico, but getting back into the U.S. I'm a little bit worried about that right now, but I would love to do it.
It's been such fun because we've done this 3 times going to Mexico to a Mexican beach, a resort. So it's been amazing because everybody's on the beach, having a good time, and these 3 weirdos were in a table writing and being very happy, especially if there's a coffee shop, because we kind of set up our table near a coffee shop, and because it's all inclusive, we have our coffees and snacks, and it's pretty good. It's
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days, I hope to join the 3 of you for writing festivities.
We can do that. Yeah, we can make that happen. That will be cool.
Yeah.
Get a big group.
Because I'm not far. I'm about 3 hours from the border, and then 3 or 4, depending on where we end up. So yeah.
We can do something in Arizona at what point? Because
actually,
Arizona is our next planned place to do.
We are thinking about, and I think I've talked to you about this too, Chaz. We are thinking about, I don't know if we could line it up with the Arizona Fan Fusion or whatever, but I think that's the goal. We'd like to do that, and then we could actually sell books there, maybe get a table together or something.
That would be awesome.
But invite like other authors, and then we can get a house, like an Airbnb house. And I know like it's summer in Arizona and it's hot, but we could get a house with a pool and we could go swimming even at night. So the sun doesn't have to touch us. Yeah, night swimming would be fun.
I will die in Arizona summer. Like I can't be in that.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be air conditioned for sure.
Yes. Everything is air conditioned. So
not in the summer. Let's get away from the summer.
Well,
but summer is cheap.
The book festival is in
it's in June.
You need to go to is in the summer. So I was more saying, like, I think if I am in Arizona in the summer, I am only going out at night because the sun will kill me and the heat will kill me, and then I'll be dead twice.
And you will say how she survived in Mexico under the Mexican sun. So yeah, we have to take care of her. We took her, and we have to, be on the. It was fun because we were in the pool at early morning, and we were going to the shaded area of the pool, and we were like vampires. Oh no, the sun is coming! Oh no, shrieking like and we have to just run away to the shade.
Yeah, it would be nice to coordinate it with the Fan Fusion, but it does get hot for sure. So, especially they used to do it at the end of May, and the last couple of years they've been doing it at the beginning of June, and it's really starting to spice up at that point. Yeah. So, yeah,
we could probably make it work. I don't know. We got air conditioning. As long as there's a swimming pool, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
We'll just.
Kelly says that if she won the lottery, she'd only write Alfred and pay Jesse to write the book.
That is called working smarter, not harder.
Right? See, for when I want to get an RV and do that exact thing, put CDs or
Oh,
put CDS
CDS.
books all over the country in indie stores. That's cool.
that's so
Fun.
cool.
It's on my bucket list to join the Covenant at a retreat. Okay, well,
Yes,
yeah,
we will love.
We're gonna
We
make
will
it
love to have
happen.
Kelly. We will love to
yeah.
have Kelly, and not
San
because she's
Antonio
my
is not
publisher.
super far from Arizona at that point, so you could join us for the Arizona one. Just do the writing bit first, and then the con to sell books. Yeah, that's probably what we'd have to do because the con is crazy. Selling
It
wipes you
does.
out.
It does. You end up like,
But yeah, Cursed Dragon Ship got a table at Fan Fusion or something like that, and or just all of us pitch in for a table. I think,
It'd be fun.
yeah, I
Sell each
think
other's
I think
books.
the tables are like $500 or something like that. So
Well, we'd have to research it because like most of my books are indie, so I can't expect Kelly to pay for a table and then have my books on it. But if
yeah,
we figure out together the logistics of a table and Kelly wanted to be in on it, I would be happy to share a table with Cursed Dragon Ship.
absolutely. That's what I
absolutely.
was thinking
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
That's a dream. That's actually, it's not just a dream. This is something that we really want to do. We're not sure when, but since we try to, we live in different places, so but we do try to see each other once a year. So yes, so that's the idea, to do that maybe in 2027, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that would be very awesome. Yeah. I'll maybe I can see if my friend Elliot Brooks can join us too. She's a indie author and she lives here in Phoenix. So
It'd be awesome.
yeah, more
That
the
will be
merrier, right?
I'm down for it. I mean, they don't have to tell me twice. I'm down for it.
Good deal. And Kelly says we can work something out. Yeah.
That will be cool. That will be cool. Yeah. It's really nice to do the selling at a table, people, and talk to readers. I really enjoy that. I've done that twice with Cross Dragon Ship Publishing, and it's been a blast. Especially because you have the table with people you like and you enjoy talking to. So it's like a little common friendship that you have with the authors. And that's one of the things that I love about Curses Dragon Ship Publishing. So it's very nice to hang around with them, we all help each other. If someone is not there, you just pitch the other book, and yeah. So that's pretty cool. It's not just. I think KPG Anderson mentioned that in one of the last writing seminar that we went. It's like all a rising tide will lift all the boats, and that's what I love to think. I really love that, and I love the camaraderie that you can have with authors, because we are not competition. We help each other out, and that's amazing. I really love that.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That
Yeah.
to me is the most important part of publishing. If you ask me, I will prefer that, having a place where I feel I belong, that I can talk with people, than somewhere that you feel like everyone is looking at you askew because they see you as a competitor. So I prefer this 100%. I love it.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. And she says, if you're going to get those many authors, we'll need more than one table. Yeah, probably that's true. So,
And that's nice.
we got plenty of time to figure it out. Yeah, especially if we shoot for 2027, that gives us a couple of years. Although we could do it sooner too. I'm totally open to whatever. So.
Well, I think we're shooting for 2027 because we try to do one thing a year, so we're not burdening ourselves too much. And this year we're doing Superstars. So
yeah. This year we're doing Superstars. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
that's our writing seminar, by the way.
Yeah. Tracy told me about Superstars several times, and she's tried to get me to go to it.
One of these years.
So why aren't you going?
I just the funds aren't there. It's pretty expensive. So
it is the first time. It is
especially the first year.
It gets cheaper after, but it's definitely, they have scholarships too. Highly recommend. Actually, I don't think they've closed, have they? I think
they're still open. I think they usually close around August, if I recall correctly. So maybe you're still on
Maybe
time.
there's still time.
You should check that because yeah, they're pretty cool scholarships, and there are
Yeah.
several. It's not just one. They have opened several scholarships now.
Oh wow.
Yes, you should check that out. Yeah.
I will. Yeah, I'll check into it for sure. Because I would like to go. I'm very I have not read Kevin J. Anderson, but he's well respected in the industry, and I know a lot of him and about him, and I've
He's a
heard.
very nice person.
He's
Yeah,
an amazing person.
number of
It's
people
someone
are great.
who remembers your name, even though I think
Somehow. Crazy.
didn't he say the name of everyone in the one of the first seminars?
There's
There were
one
like
seminar
50,
where
60 people.
he knew everyone's name and face. Like he went down and named every single person. I think there were over 100 people that had attended, and he just went down and knew everybody's name and face.
I will go like, your face is familiar. I know you, but remind me your name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
He's just
fantastic.
very welcoming, very, very good human. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what makes this seminar very special. I feel like it's a place where you feel you belong.
Yeah,
Because there are so many people like-minded. I mean, it's hard as an author sometimes to talk about your passion outside of the outdoor community. You
Yeah.
kind of, it's hard because you say, oh, you're going to talk about your books once again. Like, because that has never happened to me. But when you are with authors, I mean, they love, and not just talking about your books, you love hearing about others' books and others people's experience. And so that kind of seminar, which is not crazy crowded, is like a manageable crowd. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. And you have a lot of connections as well. That's where I met at the end. I met Callie, my publisher. So
yeah,
I'm going to be more grateful for that.
yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, well, I'll definitely look into it because I would love to go to it sometime for sure. So yeah, but yeah, I will look into that. I'll either get the link from Tracy or look it up myself on Google. Google knows everything.
Mr. Google, as one of our criticers used to say, harp. He will say, "Oh, Mr. Google says you are wrong." Yeah, he was kind of fun.
That's great. Well, I think we're coming to a good place to close. I'd love to give you guys the opportunity if you'd like to say some final words. Promote yourself, whatever. Now's the chance, and just to let everyone know, I will have all of their links in the description, as I mentioned at the beginning. And Tracy, I'll get the Kickstarter added to the description as well. So yeah. All right, take it away.
Yes, you go first.
My website is jessiesprag.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I post my pictures and my books there, and I guess that's where you find me.
Awesome.
And she also has a newsletter. You can also connect with her. She has very nice newsletters from time to time, so she's not going to, submerge your inbox with them. So yeah, because I'm dying for her.
Once a month, I send out a newsletter to keep people up on what I'm doing, and that's where you get the free books too. Is when you sign on, gives you access to ARCs and stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I'll look forward to that. Who's next?
So I'm next.
All right.
So you'll find me at ligiadewit.com. You will also see my books there, my characters. I have some fun stuff in there. An interview with Heidi and Ryan in there. So some character art. So you can just go ahead. As a reminder, I'm a fantasy romance author who loves adventure. So you will find usually a lot of adventure. I mean, usually because my magical realism story is a different thing, but I love adventure. So you will see a lot of that in my books. I spend a lot of time, maybe more than I should, on Instagram and Facebook. You will find me as Ligia DeWitt author in there, and you can chat with me. I love receiving, messages and comments. So go ahead, come on and ask me anything. I'm really open. I also have a newsletter. So if you go to my website, you will see the subscription to my newsletter. As Jesse, I send once every month, and I talk about a little bit more behind scenes. I share a little more insight about what I'm doing. I also have a free story in the Broaday's Pledge universe, which is the creation of my villain turned anti-hero, how he was created and how he started in the world. That's a pretty interesting, intriguing story. So you'll get it for free in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for being with us so far.
Yeah, excellent.
Um,
Okay, Tracy?
my website's tracynakatani.com. You can also sign up for my newsletter there. There's also a link to get the Crimson Coronation prequel novella for free. If you join the newsletter, you get the access to the novella. And that leads right into the Kickstarter book that's happening. More information about the Kickstarter is there, as well as other various projects that I'm working on. But yeah, you can find me there and on Instagram, Wolf X Lady. I share a lot there too, but website is also good.
Excellent. And the novella is really good, everybody. So if for no other reason than getting the novella, you sign up for that newsletter, do it. It's but yeah, it's good. Good stuff. Mona Lisa's here. She's late, but she made it. Hi, glad to see you. And says hello. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you all coming on and telling us where you can get all your stuff. Of course, I mentioned before, you guys can find my books, Talendor's Guest and The Nomad's Crucible, on Amazon. Trying to get other venues for it as well, so that will be coming. I do have I have a links page as of right now. I had a website, but I decided to go a different direction. So the links page is where you can find all of my stuff right now. Links to my books are there, and that's in the description below. And I've got other things I'm working on. The vendor that I chose for my links page also offers me the opportunity to make it my domain name as well. So I'm looking at options, but yeah, that's where you can find my stuff currently. So, and I really, really hope that you will all check out these amazing ladies, check out their books, support them, subscribe to their newsletters and everything. And I'm just so excited to be part of their journey, and I hope you will join in that journey as well. And Kelly, thank you for joining us. Kelly is the head publisher for Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing, so she was able to join us today. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you for hanging around with us, Kelly.
Yeah, that was amazing. And until next time, guys, make sure you read more books, and I hope you have an awesome weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.